everybody. Welcome. I hope you all have been having a week that's been good. I have heard just before I came on here that a lot of you had a lot of questions that you were doing some deep searching on, and you haven't really heard the answers yet. So we're going to see if we get some clarification during this reading for the week and see what our guides want to tell all of us. We're going to start off with the inner child oracle, because that's what I heard we needed the most, and see what they're telling us. I heard, I'm hearing that we really need to be patient, that the answers that we seek will come, but perhaps not at the time that we are hopeful for. So more patience is required. Have you felt like you've already had to be patient? I have. Let's see. Okay, so we have two messages here. I don't know if you could see that. The first one is listen. Listen. Number 25, listen. Your inner child has something to say. And then the next one is 27. Pull yourself close. Pull yourself close. Every part of your being is deserving of love. So let's see what message they have for us from these. They're saying that we need to be patient with ourselves. I think that some of us are too busy, or we are making ourselves busy, and we're having a hard time discerning the messages that our guides are trying to send us. And I'm hearing a message that you don't need to be stuck in the same cycle. If you feel like you've been trapped or stuck in the same cycle and it's repetitive over and over again, I'm hearing that you don't need to be stuck in that pattern. And they're telling me for you to pay attention to where you got that idea from, or so you understand why you're in this cycle that you're in. And I'm sensing that some of us are struggling with either uncertainty or feeling unloved, or that we have too many hang-ups about us or something like that, and that we are perhaps not worthy on some level. And your guides want you to know that you are so loved, you're so worthy. And I think some of you intellectually know this. This is deep. I think that this is deep and manifests itself in ways that you probably haven't noticed, perhaps, or haven't thought about. So the message here is for you to really do some deep thought to see where these messages are coming from and how they manifest. And how they're telling me they manifest in your life is probably through your relationships. Now, these could be romantic relationships or even your work relationships. But if you've noticed a pattern, or the same person keeps gravitating towards you, perhaps, this may be why. This may be the manifestation of that. So some deep thought there. Now let's see what else they would like to tell us. And we're going to go here to our Archangel Raphael cards and see what they want to tell us, right? Let's check it out. Again, I hear the message while I'm shuffling for us. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Take more time for yourself if you can. Be gentle with yourself. That's what I heard that just now too. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Okay, so we're getting two messages here. The first one is to get some fresh air, to get outside and to get some fresh air. If you have struggled to even get outside a little bit, this is definitely a message for you to go outside, to get some sunshine, if there's sunshine by you, and to walk on the ground and just get some of the fresh air that's outside, and to take a deep breath. And you'll find a lot of peace, I think, just through being outside. And stop to pay attention to everything, all the little details, uh, little animals crawling around, whatever you have in your yard, and just let that ground you. Let that ground you. And then our next one is a message about inner authority. Inner authority. So, this is a message for those of you who may have felt that your intuition was off or that you couldn't hear the voice of your intuition. Trust yourself and your feelings. Go with that. And this is a message for you really to reclaim your own power and to take charge of your own autonomy. You don't need to wait for somebody else to give you the answers. You don't need for somebody else to be the leader or to guide you. You can do that on your own. And that's what this message is all about, is for you to look at the signs that are around you, discern what you will from them that is meaningful for you, and you use that for yourself. Use that for your own intuitive whatnot, for your own decision making. And perhaps if you're always somebody who has been hesitant or who has been waiting for somebody else to give you the answers, this is a message that the answers are within you. You don't need to go somewhere else to find them. That could be hard. It can be hard to trust your own voice sometimes, especially if you've been beaten down a lot, or people have not validated your opinions. It can be difficult to strike out on your own sometimes, but your guides really want you to know that you have all of the answers within you. So get outside, take some fresh air, and listen to your own voice and reclaim the power that's there in your own voice. Now, perhaps fittingly, they asked me to pick up this deck, which I don't use very often. This is my Wisdom of Tree Oracles. I love trees, but I'm not really called to use this deck that often. If you have a lot of decks like I do, that one jumped out, so we're going to use that one. I don't know what your method is, but my method is I hear in my head very rapidly from my guides, like yes, no, and that's how I know which decks to pick for particular readings, either from doing them for other folks or from doing them for myself or for the collective here. So this one I don't get called to very often. So we'll see what they want to tell us. Okay, so the one that jumped out at us was ginkgo, was the tree ginkgo. And we'll look at the guidebook to see what that has to say. And the other one is holly. Holly. Reminds me of Yule. So let's check out ginkgo first and what the message is for that. So ginkgo offers a link to eternity. Look at my leaves and you will see the moment of my birth in the time before man. I am the silent witness of the past. I am the living memory of planet Earth. And this says, have you forgotten something important? Perhaps it has slipped your mind because you subconsciously want to ignore it, or because it challenges you. Think about what it may be, then take constructive action to address it. They are telling me that if you're listening, you're probably at peace with where you are. You've probably made peace with wherever you've ended up. But they're also saying if this path that you're on doesn't set your soul on fire, you don't need to stay here. You don't need to stay here. You can manifest something by moving forward, but you'll have to they're telling me you have to put a lot of thought into this. You'll have to put a lot of thought and effort into this, but you're not you can still feel at peace with your day-to-day and where you are and make the best of it. I believe passionately in that, and making the best of wherever we are for the moment and being grateful for where we are and how far we've come, because that lets us know we're on a journey, right? We understand that we're on the journey. Everything is not just about the destination, but how we choose to experience life as we get there. However, that doesn't mean we can't have one eye towards the future and to think about how we would like to maybe shape our path and where we would like to go. So it can be two things at once. And that's what they're telling us. We don't have to stay where we are if it doesn't make us feel joyful any longer, or we want to experience something new perhaps. So that's our first message. Now we're going to look at the holly, and the holly is about truth. With my sharp-edged leaves and scarlet berries, I am one of the most easily recognized trees in the forest. I have powerful associations with spirituality, and I represent the truth. Let me support you in your own quest for veracity. Do not let yourself confuse fact with fiction or irrational thought with wishful thinking. This is not a good time to indulge in fancies and idle dreams. Listen to your conscience as it guides you toward honesty and truthfulness. Really interesting. Let me see what they want to tell us here. They're in with this one with the holly, they're want us to know, they want us to be smart and intelligent uh with our decision making and with what we decide and we pick. So this almost reminds me, if you have Virgo in your chart, like be rational in logic, use deductive reasoning and common sense to arrive at the answer, because that will not let you down. Use your tools of discernment and what you know. And this is also a sign for you to seek the truth in others also, especially if something hasn't been ringing true for you. And I think that you know that. I have a feeling that you have known, or you have felt like, well, that doesn't really, that doesn't ring true for me, but perhaps you've either ignored it or avoided it, or you let something go. This is the time for you to do some research and ground your decisions in what is truth. Now, also, I think that there is a message here, because this is connected to that inner child card that we got earlier, which is to remember that the things that we are thinking are thoughts. Thoughts are not necessarily facts, right? We can think a lot of things about ourselves, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're true about ourselves. And that's why it's important for us to think about, why do I think that? Where did that come from? Do I believe that about myself because somebody told me about myself in childhood? And maybe that was true of you before, but that doesn't have to be the you that is present now. So if someone has created a narrative around you, you don't have to accept that. Or maybe you've done that. Maybe you have done that to yourself, and maybe you're in a period now where you're reinventing yourself. That's okay. That's all part of growth. You don't have to stick with the same thing over and over. You can change, and you have the power to do that. That's what your guides are letting you know. You have the complete power to do that. Now, we're going to take a look at some influences that are coming up from us with other folk, because of course we're on this journey, but we're on this journey and other people show up on this journey. Now, sometimes we're grateful for these other people. Other times we wish they maybe would get lost, right? We'll see. I'm hearing that more than one of us who are listening to this now have been having some deep interactions with Taurus signs. So are the Taurus people challenging you, or maybe you are the Taurus person and you're challenging yourself? The Taurus has some intense energy usually. Okay, let's see what they're telling us here. Let's get into the weeds here. I think some of us are celebrating our achievements. And if you have not celebrated your own achievements, please take a moment to think about how far you have come, and be your own cheerleader. Be your own cheerleader. Take stock of where you are, how you got here, and maybe it's not where you would like to end up, but amazing that you got here. It's amazing that you achieved as much as you did. So some of you, I feel, and I know I'm prone to do this too, is you achieve something great and then you just keep going to the next thing and the next thing, and you kind of forget what a big achievement that is. So don't downplay that. Celebrate your achievements. If you don't feel like you have someone else cheering you on, please be your own cheerleader and acknowledge how wonderful it is, and how far you've come. If you are noticing other achievements in your circle, right? Your community, friends, family, let them know how proud you are of them, how great it is. It's nice to be recognized, and sometimes we forget to do that. Or sometimes, we may be in an environment or a workplace where there's a lot of jealousies, and people don't tell us that, wow, your work is great. I'm impressed by your work. Just a couple of minutes can really brighten someone's day and their outlook. So do give recognition where you are able to, where you see it, and also recognize your own great work and how far you have come on the journey. Now this next one is about increase. I think some of you have been waiting. Some of you have been waiting for not only just monetary abundance, but a loosening of restrictions, a feeling of freedom. You feel like you've really been working towards the future and towards creating and building something, and they're telling me it's going to come to fruition, but it's a journey. It might take some more time. There might be some other pieces to do of the puzzle here before you get to where you're going, but good things are coming your way. Yeah, I'm hearing them say, like, on the journey, good things are going to show up, and I don't think it's just monetary things or items. I hear like people are going to be put in your way, wonderful people that are going to uplift you, and that feel like uh, it feels just to you is the word I hear. So all good things. That's all good things. Now, our next card is about taking planning in action. This is very much the message that they gave us earlier, where you have to take some time to think about where you are, how you got here, and what else can I do to plan to shape where I may want to go. And again, you do not have to be locked in. If you have in the past, made vision boards, meditated, told all your friends, I'm doing this. This is it. This is for me. You don't have to stick to that. Maybe you tried it and you're like, you know what? Not so much. Or maybe you were really like supercharged about an idea in the beginning, and you reset and you thought, you know what? My soul doesn't really resonate with that. That's okay. We are in a constant state of growth. We do not have to stick to the same thing over and over again, and we can move forward. That being said, we do need to take some sort of action. And so a little bit of planning. Now, how can you do planning? That I think is different for everybody. Some people love to do a spreadsheet. Some people love to do reading on something. Maybe you want to move to a different place. I wanted to move to Italy for years. Maybe I need to do some more planning and read more books on how to get citizenship there, right? Or if I have family that wants to take me in over there. So, but yeah, but I have to do something, right? And so otherwise it's daydreaming, which was our message from our trees. I can't just be daydreaming all the time. I have just been daydreaming about Italy. I haven't actually read any books or, done like a chart or journal. So think about how you may need to put some planning into what you want to do, because planning is action. Planning is action. Otherwise, again, we are just in a dream state. Nothing wrong with being in a dream state. All of us do it. It's good to have dreams, but this will help push us a little bit further. And some of us, I think, need the push. If some of you are listening, I think like me, we might need a little bit of a gentle push to move us forward a little bit. Now, this is interesting. Somebody is not telling you everything. This is the deception card here. Now, let me see what I think here. For some people, this could be a family member. Obviously, this could be somebody that you work with, a colleague, or it could, I also hear it could be not just like a particular person, but it could be like your organization as a whole, right? Where you feel like, oh, they have done me dirty. They haven't told me everything. This is holding you back, by the way. This deception that's going on for you, this is holding you back because you are not able to make all of the best decisions that you would like because someone is not giving you all of the facts. I heard this before when we first started, and I feel like this is just this is jealousy. That's what I think. I think this is outright jealousy. I don't know. Have you all seen more acts of jealousy of late? I have. And I think that's because of the state of the world a little bit, and where sometimes where we feel like there's a scarcity mindset, and if we feel like there's not enough resources, uh, people are doing a lot of breadcrumbing, and you'll just kind of scap up whatever's thrown your way. And so sometimes I think it creates a little bit of jealousy and envy, and it's hard sometimes to recognize. And I want to hear what the expanded message is for you for this. They're telling me you don't need to tolerate this. So if you know somebody is being deceptive to you, like that you've done some fact checking, maybe you are a librarian like me, you've been all over it. You're like, I did some research, and this person is not being honest. If it is safe for you, you can say something. You can call the person out, right? Um, Tactfully, right? Tactfully. I want to pull a couple more cards here to see what else they want to tell us about that. Just be cautious. I think this is just a general caution for us, right? So our final messages for the reading for this week, and then we've got a full moon coming up. We also have the 1010 portal, so we might hear more messages as the energy changes a little bit, and I think it becomes a little bit more intense. But this cycle that you're in is all about transformation. This is a transformative time for you. I feel like that you have felt that you have sought ways to make things better, to put yourself on a healing journey, a healing path, and it's coming. For some of you, it might be here already, but it's coming. It's coming your way. If you have been seeking partnerships with people who are going to help you in this transformative growth, they are also coming your way. You do not have to do all the work alone. You can do the work together. You can do the work shared and in community. And I believe that is coming your way. Look for information is what they are telling me. So if you do some deep diving, do some research, seek answers, and you will find them. And be optimistic. If you have felt like I'm not certain, I'm not sure where I'm going, have I done enough? Am I taking the right path? Am I ever going to see a light at the end of the tunnel? The answer is yes. Yes, you will. They want you to be optimistic about the future because they know that times have been strained, that you have felt like very heavy. I think some of you have been really deep into thought, and some of those thoughts could be a little heavy or deep or dark, but they want you to be optimistic that the shaping that you're doing now on your journey is going to lead you to the place that you have wanted. And for you, it'll feel like the utopia that you're seeking. So whatever you have been um, shaping out, that you've been dreaming about, take action. You have to do some planning. Remember, it's not enough just to dream about it. You have to do some planning. Take some planning and see where that leads you. Again, the planning can be as simple as doing research, right? Looking for truth, getting all of your facts straight, things like that. And then your other message for the week is to look for ways in which people are not being clear or honest with you, right? and discern, just use your power of discernment to ferret out what is legit and what's not. All right. That is your message and reading for the week. I'll have another message up later in the week that'll tell us about the 1010 portal. I hope you all have a fantastic week.